All right, let's see if this is going to work. This is called being lazy, not going into the studio. This is called sitting on the couch with the old busted laptop that could give out at any moment with all this stupid hair. And here comes the pup. Hello. Hello. We're talking Cowboys. We're talking Cowboys free agency. Did you know Jourdan Lewis is going to stay? Did you know Jourdan Lewis is going to stay? This pup is named CD, and it's not after an athlete. No one would do that, but I would name a puppy after a good decision, a good Cowboys draft decision. And if a player's ever not with the team anymore, you leave it ambiguous enough that I could say, yeah, the CD stands for Charles Dickens, or who else is a CD? Whoever else. Could you excuse me for a second? I'm trying to do a thing. Excuse me. Rough start to the video, isn't it? Hey, guys. Okay. No more. Chill out. Chill. Okay. Now we're here and we can talk Cowboys free agency. What's up, everybody? As you can tell, I did not succeed at kicking the habit. Or should I say not yet? I'm going to say not yet. It's if I'm going to pull it off soon. Jourdan Lewis is staying. Jourdan Lewis is staying. So now if you're the Cowboys, you have Trayvon Diggs, you have Anthony Brown, you have Jourdan Lewis. This is rule one of free agency. Rule one of free agency is you fill out your roster so that you can go play on Sunday if you had to. The Cowboys can play on Sunday if they had to. Trayvon Diggs is out here. Anthony Brown's out here. Jourdan Lewis is in here. If they use the 10th overall pick on a corner, well, then Trayvon Diggs is out here. Pick number 10 is out here. And in here is, what will this be, like year 5 of Anthony Brown versus Jourdan Lewis? New coaching staff, though. As you know, Anthony Brown has won that competition every time they've had it. But who knows? Jourdan Lewis now is back on a 3-year deal, and so he may have the inside track just because he's under contract for longer. And we shall see who would win that bad boy. We shall see. Oh, look at that. Our front office stinks. Y'all gotta get used to it, man. Y'all gotta get used to it. Like, they haven't been doing the same thing for 25 years. They've done all sorts of different strategies. Charlie Daniels, yep, that's a CD. Yep. Patrick Peterson is gone. He's going to Minnesota. So Minnesota's just out here snapping up guys that I'm interested in. They got my nose tackle. Which one did they take? Is it Tomlinson? So they're going to play. Mike Zimmer does not care. Mike Zimmer's old school. He's here to stop the run. He's going to play 2-1 techniques, 2 nose tackles at the same time. Derek, hey Jeff, why the rush to sign J. Lou to $5 million? He was a perfect candidate to get squeezed in this market. It's what, like, corners, this is the thing, guys. Corners are valuable. They make a bunch of money. What did Cheeto get? Like $8 or $9 million a year? Corners cost a lot of money, and what I've seen reported on Lewis's contract is 3 years up to $16.5 million, $8 million guaranteed. So if it's $8 million guaranteed, it's possible that what you're looking at is more like 3 years, $12 million, and then 4.5 in incentives. I'm just totally guessing because that would make it 2 years of guaranteed money. But I don't know the exacts right now. But they needed to make sure that they had 3 guys that, if they need to, could go start and play corner. And obviously they like him enough. I'll tell you this about Jourdan Lewis. Unlike a lot of people, when they drafted him, I had higher hopes than what he's done so far. But what I really like about Jourdan Lewis is I like the football character. Like, I like his mentality. I like his toughness. I like that he likes to be physical. I like that I don't think his confidence wavers too much. So I think he has the right mentality for it. And we'll see. I mean, we'll see if he's a starter. But there's nothing. You need 5 corners. That's what you need. And so now the Cowboys at the moment pretty much have 3 of them. And you need 5. Keep trying to quit, man. I know you can do it. You think they'll sign any DTs in free agency? That's Formula. That's my dude right there. I appreciate the super chat, brother. I think they'll sign a DT in free agency. Antoine Woods is a restricted free agent right now. So there's other guys on the roster, but NFL caliber dudes, you've got Antoine Woods, and then next to him will be Neville Gallimore, and Tristan Hill that'll be the rotation there. But I think they're missing the rotation guy here, so I'm hoping that they'll sign a nose tackle of some sort so that, once again, you can go into the draft and not have to do something, where it leaves you flexible enough that you can pick the best player and you can make a good decision that you won't regret in forever. Let's see here. Cowboy Mike, interest in a Dory Jackson for CB2? Yeah, I'd love to have a Dory Jackson. It is funny, though, because like Cowboy fans and observers, they're like, hey, they're looking for guys that look like this and are built like this. And then somebody who's not like that becomes available, and they're like, but they should sign him. And I'm like, hold on, make up your mind. Adoree Jackson missed most of last year with an injury, but for his career, he's been good. And I do know that they liked Adoree Jackson coming out in the draft. So if they're interested, I am. That'd be fun. Are you kidding me? Really, Lewis? I feel sick. No, this is what you got to do, man. You got to build your roster so that you can go draft. That's the rules. That's the rules. Jeff, are you still off dip, Apex? No. I made it about 3 or 4 weeks, and then I failed. But hopefully I can pull it off at some point. But I failed. Lewis possibly moved to free safety. I wouldn't hate that if that's what they wanted to try. Wow, you guys really hate Jourdan Lewis. See, I thought I loved Jourdan Lewis until I found people who loved him even more than I do. But I like him. I like his, like he has not been I don't like to say mean words, but he has not been a good NFL, like he hasn't been a quality starting caliber corner in his career so far. But he does give you the potential for turnovers and making big plays. I like the mentality. I like the way he plays. So I like having Jourdan Lewis on the roster. And I like having him as depth. And if he has to start, he can. So that's cool. Adrian, I totally agree with you on your point earlier about trading later picks for proven players. Yes, that's what the Cowboys should be doing. The Cowboys should wake up every single day and call every team in the league and be like, hey, let's talk about what defensive tackles and what safeties, corners, pass rushers, maybe a linebacker that you have that you're not going to extend, that your money situation is messed up. And I wouldn't have wanted them to trade for Michael Brockers. Michael Brockers got traded for a 2023 7th-round pick. So nobody wanted to trade for him except one team, and they gave up basically nothing because he makes $8.5 million, and he's on the wrong side of 30, and he plays defensive tackle. So I wouldn't have done that, but that's the sort of thing the Cowboys should be looking for. The Cowboys should be looking for a team that's willing to give up a player for a mid to late round pick, like they did with Robert Quinn. There are good, proven players to be found in that market, and the Cowboys should take advantage of it, and they haven't yet. And that is a market that they should absolutely be living in. Who's on your cornerback free agent wish list at this point from Ethan? Adoree. I'd take Sherman, but it sounds like his market's still going to be big, so that's probably not a thing. I don't know what Adoree Jackson's market's going to look like either. Desmond King's on the market. With Jourdan Lewis and Anthony Brown on the roster, maybe you wouldn't be looking at a slot guy. But Desmond King's a good player. We're playing fetch over here. So yes. Yes. Cowboys should realize good teams are active in free agency. Why can the Cowboys not see that? Well, that's the thing. If you go look at the teams who spend the most in free agency, generally they suck. Because what's happening is it's usually bad teams that have a lot of cap space, or a team that doesn't have a good quarterback, so they have some money, or a team that's drafted like crap, and so they don't have guys on second contracts that are making a lot of money. But yeah, there's different ends to that spectrum. If you told me your team spends the most in free agency, I'd be like, all right, well, your team sucks. And if you tell me they spend the least, I'd be like, man, are they using every avenue possible to improve their football team? So I'm with you that I would like to see them do more. But right now, what I think the market inefficiency is trading mid to late round picks, especially the Cowboys. They have 10 draft picks. And you can use those to move up, and if they trade down, you could have even more picks, and you can move around the draft and try to get guys that you like. but you're not going to use 10 picks. You're going to have 10 rookies make your team. So they should be looking to use some of those picks, maybe the comp picks, to add players. That's what they should be doing. Should have been gone all in for Patrick Peterson. You got to be careful with the getting older corners. And the Cowboys are terrified of them. They're terrified of aging corners. I'm only somewhat terrified of them. But $10 million? The Lando Show. What would it take in addition to pick 44 to make the Pats not match J.C. Jackson's tender? I hate restricted free agency. If a team puts a second-round tender on a guy, and maybe this is just New England fishing for a second-round pick. My buddy Skywalker Steele was telling me that on Twitter. Follow his YouTube page. That maybe they just slapped that tender on because they'd love to get a second-round pick for him. And so whatever you would offer him, if he signed it and accepted it, maybe they would let him go. But that's the danger. Like in restricted free agency, it sucks because what you have to do is you have to offer him a contract that you think New England would not match for a good corner. And then you have to give up a second-round pick. If you're going to do that crap, you should have just signed Byron Jones. That's what you should have done. Is Lewis better suited for free safety? I wouldn't mind playing Lewis at free safety because he's physical. He's small, but he's also tough, physical, aggressive. Cowboys aren't moving around in the draft. Cowboys move around in every draft. Why do we pretend that the Cowboys suck at everything? You can't pretend that the Cowboys suck at everything every time free agency comes around. Stop being surprised by the way they do free agency. Just chill out. What do you think Earl Thomas would ask for? A contract? Nobody wants Earl Thomas right now. He's got some stuff he's got to get together. Cut Anthony Brown. You only have 3 corners on the roster. I mean, you got your practice squad guys and your guys who had to play some at the end of the year. But no, they should not cut Anthony Brown. Right now, you have 3 guys who are starting caliber-ish that play corner, and Anthony Brown's one of them. And Anthony Brown has, by the numbers, outperformed our guy Jourdan Lewis every year. So that just doesn't make sense. He's a starting caliber corner that's on the cheap. You don't cut that, especially when you don't have enough. Chill out. Why is Xavier Woods still here? He's not. He's a free agent, unless he's signed in the last 5 minutes. Trade for Miles Jack. Yes, trade for Miles Jack. Let's go. All the time. Yeah, you can't just bash the Cowboys for everything no matter what. When they spend a bunch of money in free agency, they were idiots, and when they don't spend money, they're P words. Like, hold on now. We got to chill out. Stop it with the cut Anthony Brown stuff. Even if you drafted a cornerback at 10, you don't cut Anthony Brown. You know how many cornerbacks you need in the NFL? 5 minimum that you're comfortable putting on the field because you're going to have injuries. And sometimes you're going to want to play 4 at a time. You'd like to have 6. The Cowboys have 3. And the hope that Reggie Robinson can be a guy. Don't be trying to cut corners. Kennedy is technically on the roster, I believe. When will they sign a safety? At some point, either Keanu Neal or DeMonte Kazee. I think it'll probably be one of those former Falcons. Kazee fits better schematically because he's more of a free safety and Neal's more of a box guy. That's assuming that you're moving forward like, oh yeah, Donovan Wilson's a starter. Because if you're not moving forward like that, you could bring in Keanu Neal. But Kazee fits better. Malik Hooker, but he's hurt guy. Nathan, trade Gallup and 3rd rounder to New England for Gilmore. And then draft one of the top 3 wide receivers in 10. If you promised me they were going to pick Jalen Waddle at number 10 overall, I would let you trade Michael Gallup for Stephon Gilmore. But they're both last year of a deal, right? So I'm not throwing in a 3rd round pick for them. No, they better chill out. And I appreciate you, Nathan. Thank you for the super chat. You're a beast. No, I would not trade a mid-round pick for Minshew. Mock draft, Alonzo. No, I'm not doing a mock draft right now. There's some Jourdan Lewis. Hey, would you stop licking my hand while I'm trying to scroll? Dallas with the super chat. Appreciate you, brother. What do you think about Neal playing linebacker? I love playing safeties at linebacker, but the Cowboys can't do that right now. You know why? Because the Cowboys don't have good enough defensive tackles to protect their linebackers. So when you start running tiny linebackers out there, you get free offensive linemen running at your linebackers, and they look terrible. So you got to be easy about that unless you're going to stack up that D-line a little bit. But I love playing box safeties at linebacker. I think that's what the NFL is turning into. Can you chill out a little bit? I'm trying to do a super serious and professional broadcast, sir. Sir. Anybody have any questions for the pup who likes what was on my hand? What did I have? Did I have some rotisserie chicken tacos and some broccolini? I sure did. Anybody have interest in Alden Smith? Hard to say. I don't think that the Cowboys do, at least not much. It depends how much you know about the player and the guy and what's going on in his world, is what I will say. Yeah, y'all make sure that you subscribe. That would be kick-ass. Can J.O.K., that's Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker Notre Dame, he's a linebacker safety, really be a legit safety? And what's the word on the Oklahoma cornerbacks? Yeah, J.O.K. will be a stud box safety if you play him at safety. And I think he'll be a good linebacker if you have a decent defensive line in front of him. He's one of my 10 best players in the draft. He's a beast. Daniel, super chat, what a beast. This is off topic, but am I crazy for thinking our defense was not that good between 16 and 19, even though the numbers said different? No, this defense has never been very good, at least not in a while. But if you can force some turnovers or not let up a bunch of points, that sure would be nice. Where is CD's brother or sister? Down by my feet. She's too old for this jumping in people's lap stuff. Stomp ain't playing that crap. Have you heard of the Cowboys making any moves besides re-signing our own? Don't cap, Jeff. Love the content, brother. Luis, super chat. Thank you, brother. No, I have not. I have heard that there's communication and potentially interest with Keanu Neal and DeMonte Kazee, guys who played in Atlanta that Dan Quinn knows. So keep your head on a swivel. One of them could be a Cowboy. F.A. Obata, Jeff, yes or no? I'd like to have Obata just because my English friend Dan Turner would love it. That's his guy. Hello. Where do you think Eric Stokes gets drafted after running 4.25, and would you take him for Dallas? I would take Eric Stokes for Dallas. At 44, I'd be okay with it. In the third round, I would love it. At 10, I would hate it. That 4.25, I believe, was adjusted to a 4.34, but he can absolutely run. I mean, he was a high school. This is a Georgia corner, by the way. He was a 100-meter and 200-meter state champ in high school. He can run. Faux show. David, why are you not getting drunk with Amanda on St. Paddy's Day? Because Amanda lives in Fort Lauderdale and I live in Dallas. Will you make a bet like Kyle did last year for your safety one? Yeah, if the Cowboys draft our Darius Washington, I'll do something stupid. I'll have a pizza party. I'll do whatever. Yeah. Give me my 5'8 safety. Let's go. Give me the ballers. Give me the ballers. That's what I'm looking for. Likelihood of Gerald McCoy return. I will say above 50%. I believe there is mutual interest between the Cowboys. Stomp, what are you doing? Is there a piece of food back there? I believe there's mutual interest. Derek, Aziz tore up Pro Day 2, option at 10. If the Cowboys are interested in an edge, a pass rusher, Aziz Ojulari is my top one. He did have a nice Pro Day. CD. Just because your bag of food is open doesn't mean you're allowed to dig in it. I got to get it put up. Everyone from Dallas, I appreciate the super chat. CD, he promised us a Super Bowl. We have no money these next 3 years to pay a good player. Jerry needs to hire a real GM. LOL, 9-7. Dak's a really good quarterback. You get a much better chance at winning with a really good quarterback than without one. If you don't have a really good quarterback, you're searching for a really good quarterback, and until you get one, you're nothing in the NFL. Oh, tell him, Stomp. She keeps the pup in check. Lets him know what's okay and what's not. With a and sometimes a If Ardarius Washington was dream size for a safety, where does he go? Ardarius Washington's my 5'8", 180-pound safety at TCU. He's the best safety in the draft. He's just 5'8". If he were 6 foot and 190 pounds, or 6'1" and 200 pounds, Ardarius Washington would be picked in the top 10. His tape is the best safety in the draft. Jeff, do you think they'll trade Gallup this year? I hope not. Yes, the laptop is plugged in, unknown. I hope they do not trade Gallup, because if you're going to win the Super Bowl, which is their goal, no matter how realistic you think it is, Michael Gallup is going to be a part of that. You're going to win because you're going to have an explosive offense and you can outscore people. So trading away part of that doesn't really make sense to me. It really does not. Now, if you drafted a guy that you were comfortable as a step-in starter in the NFL that plays receiver, and you wanted to trade Gallup, the only thing about trading Gallup, here's the thing about trading Gallup. Let me tell you the thing about trading Gallup. After this year, Michael Gallup will likely be worth more than $10 million per year on the open market. Okay? That is at least a fourth-round comp pick. So if you're going to trade Michael Gallup, you better keep in mind that if you just let him play out his contract and you go try to win the Super Bowl, you're going to get a fourth-round pick for Michael Gallup. So what are you going to trade him for? It's got to be at least a 3 to be better than what you would get anyway for having let him play. And even that, to move from a 4 to a 3 and lose a year of having Michael Gallup on your team, I don't think so. I don't think so. Where's your Cowboys swag? I'm sitting on the couch just getting ready for the Maverick game, so I don't have anything. This is very not professional, okay? I'm not a professional when I'm sitting in front of my laptop streaming nothingness. Super chat from Daniel Hatton. Appreciate you. Shock the NFL and draft Pitts at 10. Do it. Do it. That's my thing when people are like, you can't take Kyle Pitts at 10, or you can't take a receiver like Jalen Waddle, who's a stud. Like, you can't take that at 10. Yes, you can. You know why? Because it's Kyle F. and Pitts. It's Jalen F. and Waddle. Yeah, you can pick them. Because they're monsters. How much against the cap is a typical draft? 5 to 10 million? Yeah, I think that's about right. But the Cowboys basically have no money at the moment. Pretty much none. Are you dipping? I am. I did not pull it off. I tried. I'll try again. Cooking ribs this weekend. Any tips, Jeff? Yes, the more I've been making ribs, the more I realize I'm going to have to do the wrap thing because they're getting a little dry on me. So on your ribs, first 2 hours, you're going to want to put them on there and put the wood in there to get the smoke on them. Next 2 hours, you're going to want to wrap them up in foil, and then 1 more hour out of the foil, give or take. All of that is give or take. And you can go up to 275 or as low as 225. But the wrap, I'm going to have to start doing because I'm starting to make dry ribs. Blech. Christian, pizza party draft player. Ardarius Washington, TCU safety. He is the pizza party man. I want my 5'8" safety. I want it. I need it. So does Jerry have to die before CD can change his number? I guess. You like Waddle over Chase? ? I actually do. Jalen Waddle is my wide receiver 1. Waddle, Chase, Smith. Waddle's just different. He's just different. Like, Smith is really, really good. Like, he's a really good route runner. He attacks the ball. He's got great hands. Contact doesn't bother him. There's a lot I like about Devontae Smith. Jamar Chase is just physically, you can't stop him from really getting off the line. You can't take the ball from him. But Waddle is uncoverable. He's a monster. The Ninja, Jeff, no tobacco. Come on, man, you got this. I know. I'm sorry. Thank you for the super chat. I'm sorry. I did stop dipping. I pulled off for like 3 weeks, and then I was kind of going back and forth, and then but I'm not. I'm not going to say I'm not strong enough. I am strong enough. I can do this, but I haven't at the moment. Dallas, Jeff, you're the GM. How you make Cowboys better in free agency? I need to see a list of the still available nose tackles because that would be step one. Because I think if you get a nice one technique, nice 320, 330 pound guy to play defensive tackle, and then Antoine Woods is his rotational guy behind him, I think you can get your linebackers playing better. So step one to me would be a nose tackle. Step two is Malik Hooker, DeMonte Kazee, bring back Xavier Woods, whatever. You need to have somebody in there that is penciled in as your free safety so you can draft straight up and then go through and get as close as you can to best player available in the draft and go. That's it. That's it. Benny Holmes, appreciate the super chat, brother. Do you think Dallas to trade down? I hope so. I like trading down. Because I think the corner that you could get at 10, you could get one just as good at 15. Just a matter of what order they go, because my preferences aren't that strong. I like Horn and Surtain the most. And then even Farley, News. Farley's the weird one because he's all potential, but he's potentially awesome. I trust Greg Newsome at Northwestern more than I trust Farley. So, yeah, I think any spot in the first round, you can pick a corner that I would like, and you would have extra picks, and then that's just more ammo to get guys in the top 50-ish, to move around even more. And eventually I would like to pick just 7 or 8 guys, but you use all those different picks to move around and get the guys that you like. That would be the plan. This guy, Rankins, Hayward, Hooker. If OT is the pick at 10, does cornerback need to happen at 44? Doesn't need to, but with the way the roster is right now, you probably want to pick a corner in the first couple of rounds. Yeah, probably. Bigger diva, Ben and Skin, or the third wheel on RJ and Choppy Show. Those are all friends of mine, so I don't know. I don't think any of those three are divas. I love them all. All right, what else? Getting close to Maverick time. About to go watch the Mavs. Try to get revenge on these stupid Clippers. Is drafting 3 corners crazy? No. Let's talk about it tomorrow, Chief. There's Skywalker, Dallas Cowboys Network. Make sure you're following him. About that Skywalker, I know we rescheduled for Thursday, but then Vach rescheduled for Thursday. Because we were going to go today, but then he rescheduled for Thursday. So you and I are going to have to talk. Maybe do something on the weekend. 500 plus viewers and only 80 likes. Come on, everybody. Yeah, hit the likes. For crying out loud. Any players on Notre Dame you like? Yeah, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Their edge, Hayes, I've watched some tape on him, but I saw him at the Senior Bowl practices, and he's got a little something. Not early rounds, but he's got a little something. Best Brian Broaddus advice you've received. The great thing about Brian Broaddus is, first of all, he's the most selfless friend I've ever met. Thoughts on Adoree Jackson? Want the boys to sign from Nathan. Appreciate you, Nathan, on the super chat. Yes, I would like to sign Adoree Jackson. It'd be great. Be your second outside starting corner. You got to check on his health, see what the money situation is. But yeah, I would like him. Best advice from Broaddus would be something along the lines of, like, if you've done the work, F everybody else. 2 or 3 years into working with him on the draft stuff, and I started to disagree with him. He's like, good, you're supposed to. It's like, you're doing the damn work. Who cares what somebody else thinks? Something along those lines. Could Will McClay be overrated? Hard to say because you never know exactly what's going on in that building and who's doing what. They failed in free agency last year, and he'll own that. He surely will. We need Jamin Davis or Jabril Cox because football team offense getting better. That's two good names. That is two good names for the second or third round at linebacker. Cox is the better cover guy today. Davis is the better run player today. But I think Davis could turn into a good cover guy. I like them both. Would you have signed Peterson instead of Lewis? Probably not. Because it's 1 year, $10 million, and there is a salary cap. You'd have had to flip a switch to do Peterson, and it would be a 1 year deal. And Lewis is locked up 3 years on the cheap, and at worst, he's good depth at corner. Is defense harder to evaluate? We're terrible at drafting defense. Linebacker can be hard to evaluate because what college teams ask their guys to do is so different than what the NFL does. Safety can sometimes be hard to evaluate because a lot of guys are so conservative that they just bore the hell out of you, and you're like, man, I don't know what he's great at. Grant or Molden? Whew! Molden, but you've named two guys I really like. Elijah Molden, Washington, corner, slot guy. Could play safety. Richie Grant, free safety, UCF. They're both top 40 players for me, so they're both good at 44 by me. Buda Baker 2.0, that's Washington. Buda Baker, Honey Badger, whatever. That's our Darius Washington. Sorry, teacher, I'm late. Adoree Jackson? Yeah. Is Sherman's market $10 million as well now? Here's the thing. If we're going to be honest, last year, I think Sherman was a better player than Patrick Peterson. So if he got 1 year, $10 million, I bet Sherman can get a 2 year deal. If he wants a 1 year deal, he could get it for probably 12 or 13, or a 2 year, $25 million deal. I bet he's going to get some decent money. Big Mike, super chat. Thank you, Big Mike. How about, damn it, Dane always says his name out loud, and I never remember how to say it. One of the vowel sounds goes twice, but it's the Ohio State defensive tackle. It's not Tagai. It's Tagai. Whatever. Third round. Fourth round would be a dream come true. Third round is probably about where Tagai is going to go. Still big on Nick Bolton? Hell yeah. If you trade down into the 20s and you pick Nick Bolton, I like it. I love Nick Bolton. Where does Caden Stearns go? Okay, rapid fire draft here. Where does Caden Stearns go? Texas safety. I will guess third or fourth round. Javon Holland, question mark. Javon Holland's interesting because he's got ball hawk skills. He forces turnovers. He gets his hand on the ball. But I also don't think he's physical enough to play safety, and I don't think he's athletic enough to play corner. So I guess he's just kind of a big slot. I don't really know what to do with him. Would you go for J.C. Jackson? I would not, because I don't want to give up a second-round pick and sign him to a deal that the Patriots won't match. That's a lot. If we sign Adoree, who do you want at 10 or trade back? If you signed Adoree Jackson at 10, I would want Kyle Pitts, but I think he'll be gone. Rashawn Slater or Penei Sewell, I would want the best available player. And so it would be Slater, Sewell, Pitts, Jalen Waddle. Ajalari is worth mentioning, but that might be a little bit early. Same thing with JOK, depending on where you're going to ask him to play. For the corners, it's a little early. I love trading down. How often does Dallas actually trade down or up? They trade a lot. They move around. Thoughts on Georgia corners? Eric Stokes I got as a second rounder. Tyson Campbell I got as a fourth rounder. Why can you not call your segment Jeffrey Time? I missed the song. Because we have to trick corporate into thinking it's a sports segment. So usually I'll tease something that's sports and I'll never talk about it. I'll just do whatever I want. Do you think Washington's height would get him to the fourth? Maybe. And that would be awesome. Caden Stearns apparently ran a 4.4 flat. Okay, so Caden Stearns is a perfect example of how safety can be tough. I don't have big knocks on Caden Stearns from watching his tape. It's just boring. So, like, Andre Cisco at Syracuse is super aggressive, jumps at every double move, gives up a butt ton of big plays. So I don't trust Andre Cisco at all, even though he's got 13 career picks. Caden Stearns is the opposite, where he'll always stay back. He's always going to play conservatively. And so I'm like, man, is there any playmaking in there, or is he just back there? And he's one of the guys that to me is tough to figure out. Hamza Nasirildeen or Divine Diablo. Nasirildeen by a hair. I got them both as second to third round guys. Did a mock today and only QBs and wide receivers and pits were taken before 10. Do you think that could be reality? Absolutely. Well, I would throw in at least one offensive tackle. But it's totally possible that the top 9 guys are offense. Totally possible. Eric Stokes draft stock after Pro Day. It should not change a lick. Eric Stokes was always fast. Don't count it twice. He's a state champion in the 100 and 200 in high school. He could always run. Don't count it twice. It's interesting. Kazee give you hope for Washington? There's a difference in 5'11 and 5'8. Would you be happy with Barmore at 10 and Grant at 44, even though that's rich for Barmore? I wouldn't, just because that is rich for Barmore. I mean, you got to remember with Barmore, he's got a lot of good traits that you like, and defensive tackles who can pass rush are valuable. At Alabama, he wasn't even a full-time starter. On rundowns, he didn't really play. I love the potential, but 10 that's rich. Mid to late 20s, I could do it there. Washington football team is so much better right now than we are. Their roster's better for sure. For sure. You're just counting on the fact that your quarterback's better than their quarterback. Are you comfortable going with Brown, Diggs, and Lewis? I can live with it. I don't think you'll have a good secondary. I can live with it. But then you would also have to promise me perfect health. Because if anybody gets hurt, you're done. Have you seen wide receivers in the draft? I am 7 in. I'm going to slap you through this computer. Ninja nuts. Who are you talking to? Nathan Neal. Nathan in the super chat. If Washington calls for number 10, but they want a franchise QB, do you tell them to kick rocks or do you trade back and give them a potential franchise QB? Oh, that's tough. I think you have to worry about building your team. I would hold them up for a ransom. I would say you're going to give me 19 and next year's 1 and maybe more than that. So I'd be willing to deal with them, but I'd be driving a hard bargain. A. Lovell, super chat. Appreciate you, dude. What's up, Jeff? Hope you're doing well. Just subscribed and we'll hit the notification bell. How do the Cowboys address linebacker position and which free agents should we target? I think Cowboys at linebacker, first of all, I think it's a bigger need than a lot of people are thinking about it because Jalen, if they're not going to do anything this year, after next year, you might be looking for a way out of that. And Van Der Esch, maybe they will pick up his 5th-year option. It has to be done here in how many weeks away? It's in May at some point. But you're picking up a $10 million option on Leighton Van Der Esch if you're going to bring him back for next year. And you have to make that decision before this season. So I think linebacker is a fairly big need. And that's part of why I like trading down. Because if you trade down, let's say to New England, you let them come get a quarterback, right? You go to 15. You still pick J.C. Horn. You get the corner. And you trade it down. So now you've got New England's 2nd-round pick. So now in the 2nd round, instead of just picking whoever, Richie Grant, now you can pick Richie Grant. And you have that other 2nd-round pick where you could pick Jabril Cox at LSU. Or you could keep moving around and you could get Jamin Davis at Kentucky at some point. I would like to see in the first 3 rounds a linebacker picked for the Cowboys. And for them to be able to do that, I would like to see them trade down so that they have an extra pick in that range. That's what I would like to see. That's what I would like to see. I love Tutu Atwell, but Waddle is way better. Oh, yeah, Waddle is way better than Tutu. I actually watched Tutu this morning, though. I like Tutu. Weird thing about Tutu is he's 5'9", 165, so I went into the tape thinking, all right, it's your standard little guy, small catch radius, super explosive, and he's like the exact opposite of what I expected. He's nice, easy, clean hand catcher, decent route runner, but he's not hyper explosive. He can run, and he's got good breaks, and he's smooth, but I was just expecting tiny guy to be like a blur and, a body catcher, and he was like the exact opposite. I like Tutu, but I like Tutu in like the 4th round. And I like Jalen Waddle in the top 10. Where is Kelvin Joseph going in the draft? It depends. Kelvin Joseph's a wild card. Because this is one of the things we won't know in the media is Kelvin Joseph on tape should go in the first 25 picks. This is a Kentucky corner. But Kelvin Joseph also had to transfer out of LSU, and the coaches were not mad he was departing. And when he opted out at the end of the year this year, his coaches were very supportive of that. So you got to figure out what is that dynamic sort of deal. Have you watched the North Texas kid, Darden? I have not watched Jalen Darden yet, but once I'm done with this, and I'm about to be, because have the Mavericks started, or do they delay it until after Milwaukee-Philly goes final, because they're in overtime? We'll see. We need 3 top 50 picks. I would give up both fours today. I'd love to have 3 top 50 picks. I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. That would be great. A little late to the party, so you might have already talked about this. Who can we realistically sign at corner and safety? Keanu Neal or Damontae Kazee, the old Falcon safeties. And at corner, At 10, who's the best corner that can be a starter day one? I believe those 2 names are J.C. Horn and Patrick Surtain. Surtain is safer, but man, I like J.C. Horn. I love the way he plays. Star coverage. He'll cover a tight end. He'll go to the slot. Who's your best guy? That's J.C. Horn's guy. And he is a dog. How we doing, Jeffrey? Doing good. Watch out for Parsons at 10 and Stokes or Campbell in the second round. Oh, I think that's totally possible. And I'm not negative on Micah Parsons. I just don't love that at 10. But you do have to acknowledge, if you had him on your football team, you'd be like, hell yeah, I got Micah Parsons. Like, you would have the biggest, strongest, fastest linebacker in the league damn near. He's a freak show. I want Micah Parsons on the football team. I don't love it at 10. Kyle Pitts, of course, Mr. Douglas, of course. Do we see Jay Lew at free safety this year? I wouldn't mind it. Pick 99 we got for Byron Jones, packaged with 44. How far could you move up? It's 44 and 99 is probably it's definitely into the 30s. Let me look. $44, is that the right number for the Cowboys? 44? 44 and 99, and this is all in theory, but 44 and 99, 99 is 104, 460, so that's 564. In theory, that takes you to 34. In theory. You watch the Miami Hurricanes tight end, Brevin Jordan. I have not yet. Maybe I'll do that tonight or tomorrow morning. Maybe I will. I need to watch Freiermuth. I need to watch Jordan. Trade our first to Washington to choose their name and mascot for the next 25 years. Jeff, are you in? Hell no, I'm not in. I'll trade him a 4 for that. Can we please get a fat guy that can still play? Mr. Douglas, you and I are always on the same page. You need to convince Broadus to start a YouTube channel. Need more Tolo. No, I need to just have Broadus come on this one so I can get credit for him hanging out. What Broadus said about Quinn and Horn's coach. Oh, well, he was referencing South Carolina. Muschamp, yeah, they're buddies. Quan Alexander? Sure. Bring me all the linebackers. Bring me all of them. All right, I think I'm going to get up out of here, folks. But I appreciate you hanging out with me. We kicked it pretty hard tonight. Marvin Wilson, when you pull the trigger, he's rated at like 154. He's not rated at 154. Whatever site you're on, he's not. No. Marvin Wilson is one of the 50 to 60 best players in the draft. And if it weren't for his 2020 season, he'd be a first-round guy. So you just got to figure out kind of what happened in 2020. But no, he's got way too much dominant tape to be the 150th best player in the draft. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. I have Marvin Wilson graded as a second-round guy. Jeff, I'm a USC Trojans fan. Would you take any defensive player? Yes, I like your, not Tufele, the other D tackle, Tui Pelotu. I don't love your safety. I think he struggles in space too much. Hufanga. I don't love him. And Tufele is just okay. But I like Tui Pelotu. I'll take him in the 3rd round. Any concerns about Aldon Smith? Yes. And I don't think he'll be here next year because of the concerns about Aldon Smith. Give me thousands more mocks. Excited for Francis Bernard next year. Free Bradley and I. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, folks. I'll be back on here tomorrow with Vach. Doing a little Scoutcast action. I appreciate y'all kicking it with me. And I hope you guys have a great night. Let's go Mavs. Party on Wayne. Party on Garth. I love you. Be cool to everybody, all right? Later on. Love you. Bye.